So in last lecture we discussed about the architecture of FPGA. There we found that there are many number of CLBs, configurable logic blocks, and inside CLB there is lookup table, and in lookup table our logic will be implemented. Now to route the signals, right? To route the signals, there are vertical and horizontal lines, connecting lines, and and these connecting lines are connected with PSM, programmable switch matrix, and inside PSM, there is an architecture of routing algorithm where we have NMOS with the 1-bit SRAM cells, and according to the binary value which is to be loaded in SRAM cell, the routing will be done. So now in this lecture we will discuss the implementation of logic in an FPGA. We will take two examples. Okay, so let us assume we want to implement this logic. F1 is equal to x1 bar dot x2 bar plus x1 x2. So this is our logic which we want to implement. So the truth table for this logic is here: x1, x2, these are my inputs, and F1, this is my output. Now as per this expression, if x1 and x2 both are 0 0, then the output will be 1. If x1 is 0 and x2 is 1, then output will be 0. If x1 is 1, x2 is 0, then also output is 0. And if both x1 and x2 inputs are 1 and 1, then output will be 1. So basically this is the logic of XNOR gate, to input XNOR gate. So this logic we want to implement. Now let us assume in this CLB there is one 2 input LUT, right? 2 input LUT is there, right? So see, it depends upon the particular FPGA. How many input LUT is available in that FPGA? It depends. It varies from one FPGA to another FPGA. So let us assume we have taken one FPGA. In this FPGA, all the LUTs are 2 input LUT, right? So 2 input LUT means it will be like this. Here there are the inputs to this LUT, input number 1, input number 2, and this LUT will have one output, right? It will have one output. Now if the number of inputs to the LUT are 2, then it will have 4 storing place. So how many storing place is there in the LUT? It will be decided by the formula 2 raised to the power n, where n is number of inputs, right? Number of inputs. So for 2 inputs, number of storing places 2 raised to the power 2, 4. So number of storing place in the LUT which is having 2 input is 4. So number of storing place are these: 1, 2, 3 and 4. So let us assume this is my storing place number 0, storing place number 1, storing place number 2 and storing place number 3. At each storing place one bit will be stored, right? Now to access a particular bit, if we are having two inputs, right, 1 and 2. Now if we will give to these two inputs 0 and 0 binary value, then my storing place, here I can write storing place. Storing place. Then in this case, storing place number 0 will be activated, right? So whatever we have stored at storing place number 0, that will go out. And if we give input number 1 0 and input number 2 1, then my storing place number 1 will be accessed. And if we give input number 1 1, input number 2 0, then my storing place number 2 will be accessed. And if I give input number 1 1, input number 2 1, then my storing place number 3 will be active, and we can access the data from storing place number 3, right? So in this way, now let us assume in this LUT we have stored this type of value 0 0 0 and 1. Then what will happen? If you give input 0 0, then my this value 0, which is stored at cell number 0, will be at the output. So here I will write this is my output, right? So here output 0 you will get. If you give the input number 1 to 1 and input number 2 is 1, then my storing place number 1 will be active, and whatever is stored there, that is 0 0 will come out, right? If you give input number 1 1 and input number 2 0, then whatever is stored here at this place, that will be the output. And if we will give both the inputs 1, then storing place number 3, here I have stored 1, this one will be sent to the output, right? So in this way, if you see that this truth table, so this is the basically truth table of AND gates. So if in this two input LUT, if we store 0 0 0 and 1 in this fashion, then two input AND gate logic is implemented, right? So this is the way how we will implement in this, right? 1 minute. Okay. Right. So now, since we want to implement this particular logic, so the truth table of this logic is mentioned here. Let us assume in this CLB we are having two input LUT, right? So these two inputs are X1 and X2, name we have given, which are the name of these inputs, right? So here this is my cell number 0, this is my cell number 1, this is my cell number 2, and this is my cell number 3, right? So in these cells, see the truth table of this logic. In cell number 0, 1 is stored, this one is stored. In cell number 1, this 0 has to be stored, so here 0 is stored. Cell number 2, 0 is stored, this is 0. And cell number 3, 1 is stored, so this is 1. Okay, so basically how we will store these values in this LUT. So here we have, this is the logic of basically two input XNOR gate, right? So what we will do, we will write the Verilog code for this truth table or for this expression. We will write first Verilog code. After writing the Verilog code, we will compile it. If we see during the compilation, compilation waveform is generated. If in the waveform we analyze that this waveform is giving us this particular functionality of this truth table, then we will synthesize our code. So during the synthesis, when we have to mention the target technology, at that time we will mention the target technology, that we want to implement our design in FPGA. We want to implement our design in FPGA. And in which FPGA? So we will give the part number of the FPGA, right? What is the IC number or part number of that FPGA? We will mention part number, right? So now let us assume we have during the synthesis we have mentioned the part number of the FPGA whose internal architecture is this, where the CLB contains 2 input LUT, right? Then after synthesis tool we will get one netlist, that is EDIF file. Then again we will pass that. So now what will happen during the synthesis, a netlist will be generated as per this FPGA, right? And in this FPGA our logic will be implemented in 2 input LUT, because all the CLBs are having 2 input LUTs only, right? So in our so a netlist will be generated which will have the information like this, that your logic is implemented in LUT number 1. Let us assume in this CLB there is one LUT and its name is LUT number 1. In another CLB there is another LUT, 2 input LUT, its number is LUT number 2. In this CLB there is third LUT, its number is LUT number 3. So like this, during the netlist a file will be generated which tells us that this particular logic is implemented in 2 input LUT, right? In 2 input LUT. Now after this, this 2 input LUT where our logic is implemented, this may belongs to this CLB, or it may belongs to this CLB, it may belongs to this CLB or any other CLB, right, which is available inside this FPGA. This information is not available right now. Only one information we are having after synthesis, and the information is this logic will be implemented in one of the LUT among many LUTs, right? Okay. After this synthesis we will use place and route tool. The input to the place and route tool is the EDIF file which is generated by synthesis tool, right? So when the EDIF file will pass through place and route tool, then at that time a particular specific LUT will be allotted to implement my design. Okay, now by that LUT may belongs to this CLB or this CLB or this CLB or this CLB, any of the CLB. So now during the placement and routing only the particular specific LUT will be allocated. Up to the synthesis only one information will be there, that your logic is implemented in 2 input LUT. That's all. Now which LUT? Out of many LUTs, which particular LUT will be used to implement our logic? This will be decided by place and route tool. And after place and route tool, a bitmap file will be generated, and that bitmap file will be downloaded in that specific LUT, and according to the bitmap file, the particular MOSFET will be turned on and off for the routing purpose. So all these things will be done, right? And also there is an option after placement and routing tool, when we are downloading the bitmap file, before that there is one option to select your particular IOBs as a input or output, which particular pin you want to make it as a input or output. That selection is also done, that will be done before the downloading of the bitmap file. So during that process a UCF file, user constant file, has to be created. In that file we will mention this pin number of FPGA will be my input pin and this will be my output pin, right? Okay. Right. So, right. Now this is the logic. This is the algorithm for the logic which has to be implemented in two input LUT, right? Now we have fixed my this IOB as my one of the input X1, right? So that provision is available while creating the user constraint file. We will fix our input pin or output pin of this particular FPGA, and let us assume this IOB I have declared as an input for my input number X2. Okay, and this IOB I have fixed it as my output pin for my output F1. And let us assume the placement and routing tool has selected the LUT of this particular CLB, right? This particular LUT is selected. So what will happen when my bitmap file will be downloaded in this FPGA? Then the logic will be implemented in this particular LUT only, right? So it will be done by the software, right? Software itself will select the LUT and all the routing algorithm, everything. Now you see from this IOB, the routing will be done in this way towards the LUT of this particular CLB. Okay, so this is the routing, right? This routing will be done in this way so that input should reach to this particular LUT. Now from the second input X2, input will be routed to this CLB in this way, right? Now this CLB will have one output. This is the output. It will reach to this line. Now from this vertical line, it will reach to this particular PSM, right? And from this PSM, it will be routed towards this direction, right? And from here it will be routed towards this direction, and from here it will be routed towards output. So in this way this routing will be done, right? So all this routing will be done automatically by downloading the bit file in this particular FPGA, right? Okay, now we will see the second approach of the same example, right? So whatever is our logic, so now let us assume our synthesis tool. Now it depends upon the synthesis tool how you have written the Verilog code. Accordingly it will generate the logic for the implementation. Now let us assume after the synthesis, I will write here. Okay, so this is the expression f1 is equal to x1 bar dot x2 bar plus x1 x2. Now there may be the possibility the same logic can be implemented in this way. This logic will be implemented in one LUT. This logic will be implemented in another LUT, and after the implementation of these two logic, the OR operation will be OR operation of these two logic will be implemented in third LUT. This also may be the possibility. So now you see, look up LUT number 1. LUT number 1 is implementing my x1 bar dot x2 bar. So now you see x1, x2. If these are the inputs 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, then how my x1 bar and x2 bar will be implemented? So you just see, if x1 is 0 and x2 is 0, then this logic will be 1. If x1 is 0 and x2 is 1, so x1 bar dot x2 bar is 0. For next condition also 0, and for next condition also 0, right? So to implement this x1 bar dot x2 bar, this LUT is used, and this expression is to be loaded in LUT 1, 0, 0, 0. Now you come to this expression x1 dot x2. How this will be implemented? This is the AND logic, x1 dot x2. So this will be implemented in LUT number 2. So see here, AND logic 0, 0, 0, 1, right? And this LUT is connected to x1 and x2 inputs, right? So in this way, x1 dot x2 is implemented in LUT number 2, and this output and this output of the LUT are to be ORed, because you see here these logics are to be ORed. So the OR logic is implemented in my LUT number 3. So for OR logic, the expression is, see, inputs are 0, 0, means here this, if this is 0 and this is 0, then what should be the OR logic? 0. If here we have 0 and here we have 1, so what should be the output for the OR logic? It should be 1. If it is 1 and this is 0, then 1. Then 1, if both the inputs of this LUT is 1, 1, then 1 at the fourth location. So in this way, this LUT is representing the OR logic. And finally, this is giving us F1. So in this way, we can implement our logic. Okay. Now we can check, if suppose this is the condition. If input is 1, x1 is 1 and x2 is 0. So you check here, x1 is 1, x2 is 0, right? This means cell number 3. This will be the output. So here you will get this 0. And to this LUT also, this is 1, this is 0, so it will activate my cell number, no, this is cell number 2. This is cell number 0, 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Same way, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So if the inputs are 1 and 0, then cell number 2 will be active, and here we have stored 0, 0 will come out. Right? Now 0, 0 are the input of this LUT. 0, 0 means this cell. What is stored there? 0. So 0 will come out. So F1 is 0. Same way you find here 0. We can check another condition. Let us assume if inputs x1 and x2 are 1, 1. So what will happen? This is 1, this is 1. So this will activate my cell number 3. So here we have stored 0. 0 will the output of this LUT. Same way, this LUT, it will also activate this cell. Here we have stored 1, so 1 will be the output of this cell. Now 0 is the input of this LUT and 1 is also the input of this LUT. So this will make cell number 1 active. Here we have stored 1, so 1 will be the output. So see here, 1 is coming. So now there is a possibility that in this way also our synthesis tool may generate the netlist in this way, right? So the same logic is implemented by using 3 LUTs now. LUT number 1, LUT number 2, and LUT number 3, right? So let us assume the same logic is implemented in this the same FPGA which is 2 input LUT. So the synthesis tool will generate only this information that this logic is implemented in 3 LUT, LUT1, LUT2, LUT3, and out of these many LUTs of FPGA, which particular LUTs will be used to implement X1 bar, X2 bar, X1, X2, or operation of these two will be decided by the tool, and tool will select any particular 3 LUTs. Okay? So let us assume this time we have declared this IOB as input number X1. This is my input number X2. Let us assume this is my input output F1. So these pins we have fixed. So this fixing of these pins will be done by the designer. Okay. Now let us assume LUT1. This logic of this LUT, for this placement and route tool has selected this particular CLB. Now for LUT number 2, this is LUT number 2, which implement my X1.X2. For this particular CLB is selected, right? And for LUT number 3, for this logic, this particular LUT number 3, this CLB is selected. Okay. Now the routing will be done. For the routing, automatically by using the bit file, particular routing will be done. So it may be in this way. X1 will be routed to this CLB because here LUT1 is there, which is implementing my X1 bar dot X2 bar. Now X2 will be routed here. From here it may be routed here. From here it may be routed here. So now X1 and X2 both are the inputs of this LUT. X1 and X2 are the input of this CLB, right? So here X1 bar dot X2 bar is implemented. Now this X2 is routed to this CLB also, and this X1 with this routing wire, it will be routed here also. So now this CLB is also having input X1 and X2, and this is implementing my this logic X1 dot X2. Now output of this CLB is routed here. From here it will route here. From PSM it will routed here. From here it will be routed in this CLB, right? Because in this CLB we are having LUT number 3, this LUT, right? So this LUT is having one input X1 bar dot X2 bar, which is coming from this CLB, right? Okay. Now the second input, this is the second input of my this CLB, and it is coming from this LUT, right? So in this way the output of this CLB is routed here. From here it may route to this PSM. From here it may route to this PSM. From here it may route to this PSM, and from here it may route to this IOB, and you will get output here. So all these routings, right, will be done automatically by bitmap file. Logic will be implemented in the LUT, and which LUT will be selected, it will be decided by placement and route tool. So in this way we can implement our logic in FPGA, right? So this implementation can be done in the lab. There is no need to fabricate the IC because prefabricated FPGAs are available in the market, and we can do the things.